Ahlan wa sahlan ya shabab. Hello, guys and girls. Welcome to part 5. And I have to apologize. In the previous part, in part 4, I did a mistake. Um, this if and else if the lines I've marked in here, they should be here inside the if statement, in the if condition. Um, I think I put it outside, but it should be here inside because yeah, we want to check here for specific errors. And yeah, what we did in the previous part was we create this interceptor, for instance, like here when we send a request to the API and we get a response back from the API. We want to intercept some things. We want to, before we show something to the user, we want to log the errors, if it's a bad request, if it's an internal server error, 500 error, and otherwise if it's a general error, we just want to log it as well. And this is the thing what we are doing here. And yeah, this was the main part in the previous video. And like I said in the previous video, we need some DTOs, data transfer objects, for showing data to the user, also for sending requests to the API. This is what DTOs are for. So let's create a new directory, call it DTOs, and a new TypeScript file, task DTOs, say add, and like I said, we need it for all the things in here. Like you see, for fetching data, getting data, like post, when we send a request, and so on and so forth. Now let's start for getting a list of tasks. As you can see, we have to define open or closed, or if we don't define it, we get both back, closed and open tasks. Because this is a enum value, we'll create an enum value, and we have to also export it, so it's available in the whole project. Export enum, call it priority. Sorry, we will do this year we will do. Wait a second. Just we will just do it. Otherwise, now we'll do it. We have open or closed. So this is our state. We need a task state. Export enum task state. And we can copy this, open and closed. I'm very bad at copying, as you can see. So, and that's it. What else we need? Okay, it's not so defined like I wanted, but I have to add up the API. Nonetheless, what we need, for instance, for getting a task object back, we need an ID, a description, reminder, is task set, created on, and the priority. And the priority is this, what we build, where will be an enum. But it doesn't matter, we will just start with the task object. And so because TypeScript doesn't offer data classes, we will have to use interfaces. You can also use the type data type. Sounds a little bit weird, but I hope you know what I mean. Export interface. I will call this interface task fetch object, task fetch response. So because it's a response what we're getting from a fetch, from a get. So response, basically what you can do is Oh yeah, I mean not copying, but let's see, ID will be a number. So next property type. Description will be a string. String, nice. Latif. This reminder set is a boolean, but now is the thing what I wanna show you. This reminder set is a boolean, but should be also nullable. Oh, god damn it, where is it? Can be also nullable. Why I'm doing this right now is because why is ID and description not nullable and the rest here will be nullable? The reason is you should always expect that your API changes. If you, I'm just talking about my private experience. When you work in the front end, make sure that you're able to adapt changes. Like when certain fields get nullable, like optional, or and so on and so forth, so your front end doesn't break. And because ID and description is something that's really important for a task, and the rest of those things, to be honest, is reminder is if it's a reminder set or if it's the task open or created or the priority, these are not so important things, and these fields could be replaced or could be nullable. So that's why I'm making them nullable. Yeah. Again, this is because of personal experience. That you should be always think and talk with your backend guys if the API can change or not. And so if they make the backend developers make it nullable or remove it, that your app doesn't change, doesn't break. Created on will be, of course, a string. Could be also null. And last but not least, we have the priority. What I could do here is just priority, make it a lowercase p priority, and this is also, of course, null. And we have to implement values in here, and the values will be like low, medium priority, or high priority. Yes, looks good. Now let's move on to the next endpoint and next endpoint. And here we can see these are the fields we have to send. And this is something we can just adapt like how it is right now. And so let's create another interface, export interface. I will call it task create request, so everyone knows for what is the purpose of this object then. Create request. Because I'm lazy, I will just basically we can copy paste everything in here. Just make sure you remove the created on because this is something we don't send. Description is reminder set, is task open, and priority. But these fields should not be null. Gosh. Okay. Okay. Next endpoint. What we have to send for. Okay, this we can ignore. This we can also ignore because we only have to send an ID. We don't need an object for this. Here we have a request body. You can always ignore such things when there is no request body, but here we have a request body. And also for getting one task, it's like, as you can see, it's the same body like for getting multiple tasks, but this will be just one object and not a list. But yeah. Okay, here we have also request body, and yeah, patch updating, it's quite the same like creating an object, just good for us because we just have to rename it and that's it. And task update, update request. But here we have to make sure that all the fields are nullable, because for a patch or so we don't want to, mostly we don't have to patch update all the fields, maybe just one field, like just for instance just a description. We can just send an update for the description, or just for priority, or just for task, or just for is tasks open for priority. So that's why we have to make all the fields nullable for this case. Okay, null, looks good. And yes. Now we can go back to our task API and define another interface, like interface. This interface just is an interface because we will not expose it to the rest of the project. Task service, and here we will define our, like an interface has, it's a signature of methods we are going to implement. So let's start. Get tasks, colon, parentheses, and we have to, of course, the status is a type string. Just let me hop back. It's this one here. This one here, closed. Status, as you can see, name has to be status, and yeah. And just look, get tasks. Oh, sorry, there's no, sorry. I am a bit confused. What we'll get out of this when we send this request? The return type will be our promise, and then we have to say this is of type Axios response and semicolon. Okay. Almost the same thing like for creating a task. Let me just duplicate this line and we say create task. And as you remember, let me just close this. And let me just close this. We have a request body in here, and we have defined the request body. So we will say create task, just say request, will be of type task create request. This will also give us a promise of type Axios response, and then we will next we are going to also let us duplicate this, and here we suggest delete task, and let's close this. Let's close this, and here we have an ID, and there's also be a. I mean, yeah, it's an ID. Here it says, I don't know why it says integer, but yeah, it will be integer. Sorry, it will be integer what we are going to send. So ID type number, and also this will also give us a promise of type Axios response. Now let's take a look at update task. Update task. Also, we have to send an ID with the integer as a, yeah. We have to give it an ID. This is the ID in the path here, and that's basically it. Looks good. Task service. the interface is defined. Now we can do the actual implementation. And now let's create a new variable export. This will be used in all the other parts of the project. Export const. Let's call it web service, which is of type task service. And here we will define the implementation. Don't forget to make the semicolon at the end. Web service of type task service. Let us implement get tasks. And of course, you can always take just copy paste the method signature. So we have a bit faster. Okay. Now let's implement this. This will return. Where's the return? Not sure why. Do I have somewhere an error? Okay, return. Sorry. Like this, it should be like this. Okay, get tasks. And we are returning API.get. It's a get call. And here we define the endpoint. It's always /tasks. And /tasks. And here, of course, we give it the status. And here we can use from the argument. We will use the argument status. Okay, looks good. I would say. Just let me quickly check one thing. Okay. Okay, looks good. Okay, let's go next. So let's copy the method signature again for create task. But you have to make sure you have to remove this colon, and then you have to put here the curly braces, and a comma, and then just in the implementation will return a API dot post, and as you can see, let me just close this, close this, and here, as you can see, we have to give it a request body, and the path is tasks. So what we are going to do is also tell it go to tasks, and then here the request, and that's it. Now let's continue with delete tasks. Again, make sure you delete the colon, same drill as before, curly braces, return API, and we have here delete. And this will be single quotes. And again, we can I forgot here the slash, but not quite sure if you need the slash, but let's put the slash in here. It says tasks. Say tasks, and again slash, and then $sign for and curly braces to take the argument ID, and that looks good. Looks good. And last but not least, we will take the update task. The update task. But yes, I did a mistake because we need something here more. We don't need only the ID because for updating, of course, we need also a request like a create task, but this is task update request. This was bothering me all the time. Okay. Okay. I knew I made a mistake somewhere. Okay. So update task, take it again, return API.patch, and we have to, of course, define the path. It's already have you seen it's ID. We have to also give it ID. Let's just take this in here, paste it, and a comma, and then here the request. Okay, that looks good now. We have our interface and we have the actual implementation with web service. And I would say this looks quite good. And in the next tutorial, in the next part, we can go and implement a composable, which will be, as you will see. So I hope it was not so confusing right now. And see you in the next one. Ila lika ya shabab. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. Bye. Ila lika. Yalla bye.